Hey everyone, it's Tim with Falconet. I'm back with another episode of Return to 1K. Well, 1.1K. Anyways, today's episode or match is going to be this Tier 2 fog match on the map Tokyo Drifito. And it's going to be a max mirror match versus Mr. Brown here. So, here's the map. In Tier 2 fog, especially on a smaller map like this, like you kind of just gotta go max. It's a little bit too big for Sammy, honestly. So let's check this, but like, yeah, 57 max. I mean, 50 Sam isn't bad, but well, 54 Olaf is better than expected actually. 45 Eagle though, like this isn't a map where Eagle's gonna be able to do too much. Mainly, the main reason for that actually is you have this harbor here. You got a little bit of an area here where you can sort of like send the lander over here, but like it's only got one spot yet you can drop off from here. So like honestly, the lander isn't even that good. Oh, you know what I'm seeing here? I'm seeing the black boats, which I think that might be an issue. But, yeah, so... That's not what I wanted. Okay. Anyways, this is a single comp tower map, but the comp towers are spaced out quite far away from your production centers, which makes it a little bit interesting because it makes it sort of optimal to send well, I say that, but honestly you're only getting an extra 2 points of movement, maybe 3 points of movement from, I guess it's turn of movement, but even if you move this black boat out of here, you're not going to get to the comp tower any faster. Whereas you can just start by going to this city and then go into the comp tower. So honestly, I don't think there's much of a reason to move the black boat out of the city here, but we'll see how that ended up working out. The other thing that's pretty big on this map is this pipe seam here. So honestly, that might be why Olaf isn't that bad, because you can use artillery to break that down. But Mech's artillery actually isn't that bad for breaking that down anyways. So, like, it is, you are sacrificing basically an extra tank in order to do that, if you want to. And it'd probably be better overall for Max if you went for... If you just waited until he got a medium tank and then just broke it that way. Plus with a couple other tank shots maybe. And this mountain here makes it so that, I mean, you can send mechs over this way, but also mainly infantry can just come over here, and then that gives them an opening in this area that lets them spread out a little bit. Obviously you're going to be using this lander to get very infantry to this other side, although honestly that doesn't give them that much. Like the thing that's weird about this lander is that there's only really like one tile that you can load off infantry, and I guess 2. I don't know. I guess 2 maybe. It's just, you're always going to be sending one behind the lander, which is kind of suboptimal. But yeah, it's an interesting map. It's mainly going to be focused around these center properties, I think, so. Let's go ahead and take a look at the replay, and let's see how I ended up doing and what mistakes I ended up making, because I did end up losing this one. pretty quickly as well. So, starting out here, obviously my opponent's going for, wait, no, I'm going for the base up here pretty early on. Did I check the first turn advantage? It's 50-50, okay. That's kind of what I figured. So we're loading up on the lander. As you can see here, my opponent going for that pretty early on. I think that makes a good amount of sense. Because, well, as you'll see here in a second, you don't really need that much infantry in this area. Well, I'm completely ignoring that, interestingly enough. I think what I'm going to end up doing here is sending the Recon plus the infantry down this way. I don't know if that's the best thing. But as you can see here, I'm already, like... No, he's sending him back, actually. Interesting. I don't know if I would do that. I think I would probably just send it... In hindsight, I would just send it into the black boat and then into this property. Then you can either chain into this and then this property, or you could just send it this way. You don't really need the pound tower. But I think 30% firepower is like a pretty big thing for Max. So it lets him potentially one-shot infantry and roads, right? And that's pretty decent as well. Let's see. Max should be about the same. Yeah. So it's a bit of a roll, but with a little bit of luck damage from even another medium with the infantry. That is pretty good. That is semi-consistent at wall breaking. So interestingly, we're both doing recons early on here. What I'm noticing here is there's like a big deficit of funds early on. We're not having much money to spend. I'm actually going for the transport copters here. Interestingly enough. Oh, I think I know why. It's because... Okay, so you can also just send your infantry this way. And that way you can sort of like see the con tower and cut off your opponents if they're going by. Yeah, that's why. It's because I went off of the thing there. I don't even... Well, actually, you know why? That isn't allow me to get to this property a little bit earlier. So that's not like the worst thing in the world. But I am losing my black boat for my HQ, so it is a bit more susceptible to a cap. If he wants to take it. Or go for it. So yeah, already he's doing some recon strats here. We're at a second recon out, but like at this point... Well, at this point we're still pretty even, it looks like. As far as money goes. I think the transport copter might have been okay, had I not bothered with the second recon. Like, and then there's just max recons doing their thing there as well. Let's see what the odds are for this. Which I think it's not. Okay, so 42.51. That's in addition to whatever luck damage I got from the infantry. So it's actually not that unlikely that I get the 5 roll there. Oh, you know what? I think I know why. What ended up giving my opponent the lead here. So I'm opening Battlecopter as well, which isn't like the greatest move. I'm falling behind in income as well. And he's able to block that so with his recon, so he's gonna get both com towers. That's why. I think that's why this match ended up being so short. And I like do have the Battlecopter out, but like I don't have enough tanks to deal with it. Battlecopters are a little bit weak against recons. Even max Battlecopters, I think. Let's see. Into the recon. Compared to the tank, right? So if it's on the road, max tanks are pretty decent at taking them out. But battlecopters actually don't one-shot. Because why, especially with max, and especially in fog, you want to open up tanks pretty early on. But he's got both comm towers at this point, so like that's not the best. And the other thing is I don't really have the units in the area to deal with much here. Like already you can see that I've fallen back pretty significantly behind on just vehicle count. I've only got one tank out. I've lost one of my recons already. He did base get there for an extra tank. I think that's going to end up being worth it for him. Especially considering that he's got, yeah, he's got all this extra stuff here. Like he's just going to be able to plow through my units at this point. And the other annoying thing here is like I can't do much with my battlecopter down here because it'll just get zoned out by this guy. At this point, he's got 2 comm towers. There is actually a chance he just straight up one-shots it. But even if he doesn't one-shot it, like I'll be at 1 health with the battlecopter. It's not like 1 health battlecopters are completely useless. Which is why, especially once you get both comm towers as max, I don't think you even need the anti-air. Well, maybe for bombers, but like I'm not gonna on a map like this. You're not gonna have to account for that, anyways. So. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they would just start swarming me with his tanks. And with the battlecopters and stuff as well. So I'm gonna pop my power here and get a little bit of good stuff off here. Like I'm able to basically take out his battlecopter there. Get a decent first strike here on his tank there, but he's gonna be able to come in with his tanks there and take out my tank in response. And I didn't even kill that tank, so yeah, even with the recon hit, like it's not gonna be too good there. That being said, in terms of unit count, I am ahead a little bit, but that's mainly because I popped my power. And I am behind on unit count and income in a lot of things as well. So he's going to be able to get a pretty good couple of stuff off here in a second. Like I'm not going to be able to take this compound, which is, I think that's going to be the main issue here. Is he's ahead in income, is ahead in firepower as well, quite significantly, honestly. So, and I'm trying to move in like that. I'm able to take out the anti-air at least, so. But he is going to be able to finish off my battlecopter. So actually, I might be able to. Well, let's see. I'm trying my best here, right? So. And then honestly, I'm not doing that terribly, considering that he was able to take this pretty early with the recon and get this one as well. So. Yeah, he moves like that. And I'm like barely unable to cap this next turn. It's the main issue here. He's got 2 battlecopters in range now as well. Like I'm not going to be able to do too much there. Like even the 3 health. Look at how much the 3 health anti-air does to me. Like, so I mean, considering I kind of disregarded the anti-air earlier, but honestly, it's like, especially with the max superpower, it's gonna be doing a lot. So even if it's like 2 or 3 health, like So yeah, I mean, he's just getting swarmed at this point. And I pop my max force, but like at this point, it doesn't matter because I just resign. Main reason is this engagement right here. And I also don't see anything in the fog, but like he's guaranteed to interrupt this cap to actually finish off this cap next turn with the battlecopter. So like, there's no point at this point. If we're looking at what went wrong here, I think it's just basically that I wasn't exactly sure what I needed to do here with all my units. Him moving in pretty aggressively with the you can move in very aggressively with the recons very early on in this map mainly because you just don't start out with much income to start out, right? So your opponent's not going to be able to get any tanks on the ground for like a while, meaning that your recons are going to have a few turns in which they're going to just have free reign. They can just interrupt basically for free, and you'll be able to just move them back. Even if your opponent tries to move in with like for a recon or something, you'll be able to finish them off. So there's that. The transport copter, I think it did a good amount of infantry reinforcing. The only issue is like I didn't need infantry, especially against max. Like all that matters in a max fight is how many tanks you have, I guess how many battlecopters you have, how many vehicles you have. And spending 5k on this transport copter was a big waste, I think. Going double recon, I think might have been a bad play as well. Well, the transport copter as well. So like, I have 8k this turn, and that's enough to like get free infantry plus a transport copter. But I could also just save up for a turn, get the free infantry. Next turn I can get a tank. And like tanks are so invaluable in fog, especially as Max, because like what Max can do is he can just from base he can one-shot recons and roads because he's got 20% firepower, and that's pretty huge. So it means that, well, especially against Max, it means that he can't just send in his recons for free, basically. So if I had just built, well, I'd be getting it this turn, right? So I'd have a tank this turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Well, it still would be a couple turns away, honestly. But I'd at least be able to burn in this area with my recon instead, and then just leave this area to my tank, right? So. And I can even just do that into like there or something. That being said, the recons are very valuable this early on. It's so honestly, the recon there wasn't like even that bad of a play. It's just, and it's mainly because I didn't have enough money for a tank because I didn't think about it too hard. The other thing that I probably, well, I mean, moving in with the black boat here actually did make it so that my infantry here could grab this for more or less for free. And you can chain like that into that into that. It's just a little bit slower than you might want. Because your opponent can just move in with the infantry like there at this point. So they can just chain that into that. Whereas if you had, and then that's sort of why you need the recons. Honestly, double recon is a very good opening of this map. Because not only can you block your opponent's infantry here because the comm towers are so far away from the bases, meaning that you can sort of secure them relatively easily without having to worry about the tanks. You can also just harry. You can use them to kick any infantry that are on the comm towers off so that you can secure it for your own infantry. It's very I think double recon, just sending one to each comm tower is very good. A very, very strong start, and then just go into tanks like my opponent did here. He's even, I think he even base skipped here, maybe. For the tank. Yeah, he's base skipped for the tank, which honestly I think that's gonna end up being worth it. I don't know if it's worth it to put it back here though. I would probably put it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because then you can just move into the center here. You have more options with the tank. But if you, well, I mean, you can also. I think building it in this base is better, and this is just getting a little bit nitpicky here, but definitely building it in this base is better because you can either send it this way, or you could just send it into the lander, and then you can just send it this way like that as well. So it's like not that bad either, but I guess he was saving this for infantry because he wanted to send his infantry this way and wanted a bigger infantry presence in this area as well. Which I respect that as well. I can understand that. But yeah, that about does it for today's episode. Next week is going to be another fog game. Tier 4 on this map, cross-country rivalry. So, yeah, I guess go ahead and like and subscribe and all that other nonsense. And I will see you guys in the next one. So, bye.